starting to get a little bit frustrated with worst rated fishing lures on the internet. The plastic is garbage. It is a fish. Yes, my second cast. Look at this. What is up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another video. And you know, I was reflecting the other day on how truly lucky I am, okay? And what I mean is, like, in a fishing context, I am so lucky to be fishing with generally the best rods, the best reels, the best line, the best lures, some of the best fishing platforms like the SS Minnow Johnson, and some just straight up awesome fish ponds. And because I'm so blessed, sometimes I lose sight of what it was like when I didn't used to have all that stuff, when I was fishing with not so great gear, when I was fishing with kind of the middle of the road to the bottom of the barrel type stuff. And sometimes I like to go back to those days just for one video, just to kind of remind myself of what it once was like. So I went ahead and did something pretty dang silly. I went to shopkarls.com, which you guys know is one of my favorite places in the world to shop for fishing gear. And I proceeded to find what I believe to be the 4 worst rated fishing lures on the internet. Now, there's a ton of factors to take into this. I mean, it's not like the most literal, 4 worst fishing lures of all time, but I went through and searched the entire Karl's Bait and Tackle website, and I found these 4 lures, and they were by far the worst rated lures on the website. For those of you that aren't familiar with like the whole like worst rated, like what that means, on a website like Shop Karl's or Amazon or Wish or whatever, there's a way for you to review a product once you have bought it. You can like rank it from 0 stars to 5 stars, and you can even write like a little review about, whether you liked it, whether you didn't like it, whether you would recommend it to other people. That's what I'm basing this like worst reviewed on. Real quick before we go any further in today's video, I do want to shout out Karl's Bait and Tackle for being the sponsor of today's video, although I'm pretty sure they do not know that I'm doing like the worst rated lures on their website. I'm not sure if they'd even be happy about that, but hey, you know what? Screw it, let's do it anyways. But that is where I do 90% of my fishing tackle shopping. Really, dogs? Really? During the video shoot? That's how we're gonna play this? But yeah, it's where I do all my shopping. It's a great place to save money on stuff that you're gonna end up buying anyways, whether it's at a store or on a different website. Stuff is cheaper. They've got a ton of variety of stuff. Definitely check it out. Click the link top of the description if you want to go check out their website. So let's start off with lure number 1. This bad boy right here is called the Arashi Vibe. And basically, as you can see, it looks pretty much like your basic everyday lipless crankbait, rattle trap style lure. This thing has a grand total of 2 reviews with an average 1-star rating. So before you guys say anything, I know 2 reviews is not really a huge sample size, but believe it or not, it was really hard for me to find badly reviewed or worst rated lures on the website. There was only a few that had like a bad rating, and some of them had like 2 or 3 reviews. So I understand that kind of skews the review a little bit when there's only 2, but just go with me on this one. So yeah, a 1-star review out of 2 reviews. Now, let's actually pull up a couple of these bad reviews and read them. There's literally somebody playing a trumpet in their yard over there. Where am I? All right, so negative review number 1. It says, not what I expected, returned it. That's pretty much all it says. And it does say, bottom line, no, I would not recommend it to a friend. Not really sure what you could have expected and not thought that it was a lipless crankbait, or I don't know. And the next review is almost the exact same thing, but worded differently. And it says, returned it, just not what I was expecting. What were you expecting? It looks like a lipless crankbait, unless it's not a lipless crankbait and I'm just the one that's crazy. I mean, that's literally what it is. Moving on to lure number 2, and this is an Arashi just bash fest right here, because we've got another Arashi bait. This one is a spin bait, okay? Now, to me, it looks like one of those topwater prop style lures. I mean, you've got the 2 props, the front and the back. Got treble hooks, looks like it should float, and it's just a topwater lure, right? Now, it has like a 2.5-star rating with 3 reviews. So that's actually a step up from the lipless crankbait. This one actually has 3 reviews as well. Okay, I'm actually only seeing like 1 written review, but this is one of the 1-star reviews that it got. And it says, this is just an awkward lure, has no action. That's definitely not good to hear, seeing as how we're gonna take these things and go fishing with them later. So that's not good news. Next up, we have what was really the most surprising to me out of the entire bunch. We have a super stainless spinnerbait by Terminator. Now, I know the brand Terminator, they make frogs that I've liked for a long time. So I was really surprised to see that this thing had 2 reviews. Both of them are 1-star reviews on a spinnerbait. I mean, come on, it's a spinnerbait. How bad could a spinnerbait actually be? All right, so I've got both of these 1-star reviews pulled up. So the first one just says, returned it, with no further information whatsoever. So we have no idea why they returned it. They just did. Second review is almost literally the exact same thing. It says sent back. And they both said, no, I would not recommend this to a friend. So this is the most perplexing to me. I mean, a spinnerbait is a spinnerbait is a spinnerbait. It looks completely fine. It looks like it should work. So don't really know why the people are having such a problem with it. Maybe the hook is bad. Maybe the blade falls off. Maybe the skirt's kind of not that great. I don't know. That one's just kind of crazy to me. Which brings us to my favorite one of this bunch, okay? This is called the 360 GT Trick Tail Minnow. Basically a soft plastic little fluke looking deal with a weighted hook that's supposed to be in the pack with it. And of course the color I chose was pink because, I mean, hey, why the heck not, right? It's called like Rooster Kickin' Chicken or something crazy. I don't even know. It had 1 review with a whopping 2-star rating. So only 1 review, not that big of a deal, but let's see what they said. Oh, here we go. We've actually got like a typed out, well-worded review. Now we can actually slang some dirt. This person said, love the weighted hook, but the plastic is garbage. I got a defective product that had the tail flat instead of the way it looks in the picture. It looks flat in the picture, so I don't really know what the deal is, but at least the hooks are good. And in this situation, that gives me more hope than anything else. So there you have it, some pretty brutal reviews by our friends over at our customer friends on Shop Karl's, the website. But I mean, hey, you know, honesty's the best policy. If you don't like a lure, then bash that bad boy, right? But we have reached the part in the video where we stop talking about these bad lures, worst rated lures, whatever you want to call them. We're going to put them to the test now. I'm going to take these 4 lures out, show them to you a little bit more closely. We're going to go fishing with them. And not only that, we're going to a new pond that I have never fished before. Probably a terrible idea with new lures in general, but you know what? I'm a risk taker. If you guys end up enjoying this video, make sure you hit thumbs up button. Let me know in the comment section if you want to see more videos like this, like worst reviewed or best reviewed, this, that, rod, reel, plastics, whatever. And I will certainly do it in the future. If you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Join the Lojo fam, the best subscribers on YouTube. Anyways, let's get out to the pond, put these bad lures to the test. Hello there, new pond. This beautiful water. Wow. Now I've talked to a few folks. I don't even know if there's fish in here. Even got a little waterfall right here. Man, got the fountains out there. One thing I know about ponds with fountains is there's typically fish in there, so I don't know. Uh-oh, we found our first evidence that there might be fish in here. Look at that, boys. Fishing worm. I'll go ahead and pick that up for whoever dropped it. All right, well, I went ahead and rigged up the lipless crankbait, which is probably what we'll start with, but I also put on the crazy rooster chicken fluke style thing, and also the little spin bait or prop bait or topwater caflugula, whatever you want to call that. I think though the best option here is going to be to try to bomb this lipless crankbait out there. This is pretty heavy, should be able to cast it pretty far, and just that gold color should work well in this nice clear water. One thing that I just noticed about this little guy right here, look at that, the top piece right there, like where the split ring is. Look, it can move back and forth. I don't know what the advantage of that is. Maybe it gives it just better action overall. I don't really know. Let's see what this thing looks like in the water. Okay, it looks pretty good. It bounced off a couple rocks pretty nicely. I don't think this thing looks bad at all. Now the hooks, one thing I have noticed about the hooks earlier, they're not very sharp. I mean, they're sharp, but they're just not like super sticky, you know? Like you would want your treble hooks to be. You want those things to be super sticky. If a fish so much as breathes on that lure, he's gonna get hooked. That's kind of what you're looking for. Ooh, what's that? Is that a fish? It is a fish. Yes, my second cast. Oh, it's a little bass too. Yes, oh, we need this fish. We gotta get on the board real early here. That'll give us a good chance to kind of complete this little thing. Come on, hooks. Oh, I know I just said you weren't sharp. Ha ha, look at that. Oh, he barely stayed hooked. I mean, barely. There you go. Somehow those hooks stayed buried in his face. Okay, boom. There's one. Look at that little chunker right there. He's got some freaking belly on him. He is ice cold though, guys. An ice cold fish. Heck yes. All right. Go ahead and get him back in there. Okay, so that's about the best start we could have possibly gotten off to. But let's be honest for a second. Out of all these lures, beside maybe the spinnerbait, this one was probably the most obvious that it was gonna work. I mean, especially in cold water, lipless crankbait, gonna be pretty hard to beat. Let's go ahead and try this little spin bait out. I just don't know if they're gonna eat top water, you know? I don't know. It's so freaking cold. It's been so cold. I just don't know. We're gonna fire it right back out here where that little guy was though. Oh wait, it doesn't float. What the heck? Oh, come on, this thing doesn't even float. Is this not a topwater lure? What in the world? Do I have to like retrieve it like a buzzbait to make the blades spin? Wait a second, hold on a second. Okay guys, I need your help. What the frick is this thing? It sinks. But I mean, it's got the two props. It looks like one of those, like, you know, floating little prop topwater lure. It's got the prop right there. It's got another prop back here that interferes with the hook, which makes no sense at all. But it sinks. How am I supposed to work this thing? Like a jerk bait? Or am I supposed to retrieve it really fast and keep it on top of the water so the props can spin? I'm gonna try it like that for a minute, but I have to retrieve it way too fast. There's no way, as cold as it is today, that anything is gonna hit this thing going this fast. I'm gonna try it a little bit. Maybe I just have to work this thing like a dang jerk bait. You know, it actually makes a pretty cool little sound as it's coming across the top of the water. It really sounds like, you know, some fleeing bait fish or something like that. Those little props are spinning real fast. But like I said earlier, it's moving way too fast. We're gonna have to resort to fishing this thing like a straight up jerk bait, I think. Just kind of like popping it under the water. And maybe we can just get, you know, like one of these lethargic winter bass to hit it like a jerk bait. This is weird. Like, I can see why people return this, and it was not what they were expecting, because you look at it and it looks like a floating topwater lure, but the dang thing does not float. So that's a major problem. Ooh, I swear I just had a bite on this thing. Working it like a jerk bait. Didn't check the hooks on this thing. I don't know how good or bad they are. Let's see. They're about like the lipless crank. Not particularly sharp, but that's okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna need to put this thing down for a minute. We're gonna need to regroup, try something else, and save this bad boy for last. I can already tell this is gonna be a pain and the you know what to catch a fish on this thing. I've got a feeling about the old kicking chicken. I think I wanna give this thing a shot. A little like a fluke style fluke. A fluke style fluke. I'm silly. It's too cold for my brain. Hasn't warmed up yet. Now I know the color is crazy, but pink lures, they catch fish. I've caught fish on pink worms before, so I'm not too concerned about the color. I'm more concerned about what kind of mood these fish might be in. Gotta be a fish out there in that fountain, right? I mean, there literally has to be. Oh, I just hit something. I may have just got a bite. I swear I just hit something. Maybe I hit like a wire or something. Normally there's like wires running to those fountains to hold it in place. I don't know what I'm talking about. I swear I just hit something though. Or something hit my lure. Surely it wasn't a fish trying to eat it. Yeah, let's check this other pond out. I like this pond already for two reasons. One, it's smaller, which means the water should heat up a little bit faster than the other one. And two, the water is a lot dirtier. The other pond's really clear, but I would prefer my water to be a little bit dirtier when I'm fishing some lures that I'm not really comfortable with or haven't really fished before. Well, I don't know if that first fish was luck or I don't really know, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw a spinnerbait on. We are in this a little bit of a murkier pond, so a spinnerbait should excel in that type of situation. The hook on the spinnerbait is slightly sharper than those on those other baits. I mean, the wire looks fine, everything looks straight. Let's put it in the water, see if it runs straight and everything. That's a big deal with these spinnerbaits. Some of them come out of the package and they don't even run like straight up and down, you know. Let's see here. Seems to be running straight up and down the right way. Looks pretty good in the water. It looks like a little bluegill, you know? That's basically what it looks like. Maybe that was the only fish in either one of these ponds, and I caught it right off the bat, and now I'm not gonna be able to catch anything else. That wouldn't be cool. All right, well, you know what they say. You should never leave fish to find fish. And although this pond looks juicy, and there very well may be fish in there, I haven't seen one. Hadn't seen even a sign of a fish. But we do know this other big pond does have fish in it. So I think we need to concentrate our efforts maybe on this sunny side that's warming up a little bit. I think that's the way to go. Fish? Yes, sir. Oh, that feels good. That's a nice fish. No freaking way. He hit it on the fall. I wasn't even retrieving the spinnerbait yet. You've got to be kidding me. That is a good fish. Oh, just hanging out there in the deep water. This is a 3-pounder or more. God, you've got to be joking me. Look at this guy on the spinnerbait. Oh, he choked it too. Look at that. That's a 3.5-pound largemouth bass who absolutely annihilated that spinnerbait. Look at that guy right there. That's a tournament stud keeper right there, boys. Yes. Man, that hook stuck him good. Wow. Ouch, he bit me. Wow. You got to be joking me, guys. This tiny little pond. People were telling me there weren't even like fish in here. On the spinnerbait. Frick yeah. All right, bud. Go on now. Look straight back. Straight back into the depths. That was crazy right there. And that is exactly why we came back to this pond. Because now we know there are good sized fish out here, not just regular fish. That was nuts. I fired this thing straight out into the deepest water, and I was actually watching my line fall and counting, trying to figure out how deep it was. I mean, I think this is a 3/8 ounce spinnerbait, and it fell for like 7 seconds. So you guys can do the math on that. Now, a spinnerbait's not gonna fall as fast as like a straight up, lead weight, but it's probably like 10 feet or more, maybe like 12, maybe. Dude was just hanging out there in the depths. I take the slack out and he's already ate the dang spinnerbait. That is a good sign. As happy as I want to be about catching that fish, and I am happy, don't get me wrong, that just made my day. But now I'm left with the reality of my final 2 lures. This one, supposedly a topwater, prop bait, which actually sinks, and I don't know how to work it. And then the kickin' chicken weighted fluke. So I think I am going to throw this thing out there. Now that we know that there's some deep water straight out ahead of us, and there's fish in it, I mean, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't just chuck this thing out here like that, like so. Let it fall, I mean, all the way down, and then just ease it in. So two lures down, 2 to go. The action of this kicking chicken is actually really good. Like, I can get it to like go like full like 180 degree darting around when I pop it. But I think it's just the color, that pink color with the chartreuse tail. I think it might just be throwing these fish off. I mean, it probably doesn't look like anything that they would eat on the regular. And if you look at the first 2 baits that I caught fish on, that golden shiner looking lipless crankbait, gold, that's a real good bait fish color for any kind of water, clear or dirty. And then that spinnerbait is like a bluegill, like a natural color. Once again, that's gonna excel in this clear water. But pink and chartreuse, I just don't know. Like, I don't know. This might be, I don't know. These last 2 lures, this is gonna be a challenge. Although I like the way this thing looks, it's just weird looking. Now with this little guy, I really do think this is a topwater lure. It just doesn't float for God knows why, because it has its best action when you're reeling on top of the water, and those little blades are spinning, and it's making some really good noise. Well, I'm not going to be catching any topwater fish when it's 20 degrees outside. I don't think. It's about the only thing I can catch with this thing is a freaking stick. Catching the mess out of these sticks though. The hook's got to be at least halfway decent. They're snagging every stick that's out there. Starting to get a little bit frustrated with my worst rated lures. They are acting like the worst rated lures in the world, because these fish are not showing any interest whatsoever. However, I will attribute a slight amount of this to the fact this is a new pond. So I really have no idea what the fish population is like. But when you catch a 1 pounder, a fat little 1 pounder, right off the bat, second or third cast, and then you catch a freaking 3.5 pound stud out of the middle where it's deep, you kind of assume, okay, there's fish in here. So I'm not gonna say that this pond is not that good, because it's been pretty good to us today. I think it's these freaking lures. Well, I think I'm literally just gonna sit here, film my outro, lay here, fish a little bit longer. This is such a nice place right here. It's so calm, it's chill, it's cold, but it's not bad right here. So yeah, you guys saw what happened. I mean, we had a pretty interesting day. We achieved some things and failed in other aspects of life, which is just in general what I do. But I wanted to set out and find, you know, 3 or 4 of just the worst reviewed lures I could find online at Shop Karl's. I did that, found them, bought them. We got to read some funny reviews, and we kind of just talked in general about why these things may have been so low rated. But I mean, the 2 lures I thought would work, worked, and the 2 lures that I was a little unsure about didn't work. So pretty much turned out like I expected. But hey, what I did not expect is coming to a new pond and catching a nice 3.5 pound stud like that with these tough conditions. I mean, I was not expecting that at all. Oh, I'm just gonna lay down next to this little babbling brook right here. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. As always, get in that comment section to let me know what kind of videos you want to see on the channel. If you want to see more napping videos like this, if you just want to see me lay around and nap instead of fish, you know, we can do that. If you guys want to see me, you know, do whatever, buy some more bad rated items, I certainly will. There's plenty of items out there that I've seen that have been the lowest rated or the highest rated, not just on Shop Karl's, but Amazon, you know, Tackle Warehouse, literally anywhere. But make sure you guys go check out Karl's Bait and Tackle, shopkarls.com. It's where I get all my stuff. I've told you guys this a million times. You know, I get sick of saying it, but I know you guys are curious. That's where I buy 90% of my fishing gear. So big shout out to them for sponsoring this video. I don't think they knew that I was going to do this. They probably don't appreciate me showing their worst rated lures, but every website has things that are poorly rated. I mean, that's just how it goes. In fact, it was really tough for me to find badly rated things because everything we had like 4 or 5 star ratings. That's it, guys. Signing out from the Babbling Brook. This is Lojo. I'm taking a nap.